The 2025 DTM season begins in the winter, in the snow. High up, almost above the clouds, we meet the man who set the standard in 2024, Mirko Bortolotti. The 35-year-old puts the pedal to the metal on the Timo, right on the border between Austria and Italy. The Alps. What a backdrop for a true champion.
It was super cold. We were quite high up, mega location in the middle of the mountains.
2,000 meters above sea level, the setting for his first encounter with his new team, Abt Sportsline. The beginning of a new chapter, and maybe of new heights.
We had a lot of fun working the whole day together with the team and with Red Bull, so we really enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, what we all want, of course, is to start racing.
October 2024. At last, the dream becomes reality. At the third time of asking, Mirko Bortolotti makes it. He's arrived at the very pinnacle of GT racing.
Yeah, goosebumps, definitely. Really a special moment that will stay with me forever. I still remember the moment they handed me the trophy and I almost fell over because it's super heavy and I didn't expect it to be that heavy. Good memories thinking back about last year's Hockenheim race and just the whole journey we had until that point.
But that was then. Now, 8 new race weekends await. A new season, a new challenge.
Time to start a new DTM mission.
2025, a year of big changes for the Italian. Abt Sportsline is his new team, a big player in the DTM, now in transition. After 25 years with Audi, they're aiming to shine with Lamborghini and Mirko Bortolotti.
A new chapter began for us. We knew already Lambo from our 24-hour program, but at the end now this is sprint racing, so it's something new for us. But having Mirko in the team as a reigning champion is a real honor.
Mirko Bortolotti knows the bull from Emilia-Romagna well, a clear advantage for the team. And his teammate, a familiar face too.
Time to make it happen. For me, I just signed with Bayern Munich. That's how I say it with the Abt family. It's a big tradition, this family in this championship. So to be able to get a seat with them, it's a big honor. So let's make this one a big one.
Nicky Tim and Mirko Bortolotti, a driver pairing with real firepower. Both bring plenty of experience, and both have that winning mentality.
I think they proved last year that they are very good teammates and they're working very great together.
I think it can only be, hopefully, another success story. Hopefully we change the numbers at the end of the season.
This DTM power duo is hungry for success, just like their team, Abt Sportsline. It's been 16 years since the most successful active DTM team last claimed a driver's title. But the 2025 lineup gives cause for hope.
We all know the history and past of Abt, one of the most known, if not the biggest name in terms of team. I've been following it when I was a child, when I was dreaming about becoming one day a DTM driver. It's a great pleasure to be in this team and to fight together for the title now, hopefully.
2 drivers, 1 machine, and some stunning scenery to go with it. And who knows, by season's end, they might just be back on top. But this year's grid isn't just charging with bulls and beasts. There are ponies too, and they're anything but tame.
A legend is back.
They've come to make some serious noise. For the first time since 1994, DTM fans can look forward to seeing Ford and the Mustang back on the grid.
I think it's massive. I knew the brand is big and it's a nice car. After the announcement, I saw how huge impact it had. It's crazy.
Ford's been around in all kinds of motorsport for years now, and I think it's sort of in the DNA of the brand to be involved in racing, and not just racing, but winning.
Ford's comeback packs a punch. By the late 90s, they'd scored 30 DTM wins. The highlight, Klaus Ludwig's 1988 title in the iconic Sierra RS 500 Cosworth.
It's amazing what the Ford achieved in the past. Le Mans 66, I think everyone knows the movie Ford versus Ferrari. And yeah, all the success in Formula One. So it's a huge brand with a huge motorsport history, and they want to rebuild it. And that's amazing to be part of that.
The Mustang is back. 31 years after its last outing, HRT returns with the US icon in GT3 trim. A new chapter for the team, following their Mercedes AMG era.
The car so far has only done endurance races. Get it into the rhythm for sprint racing, and that at the pinnacle of GT racing in DTM, that will be a challenge, but we're up for it.
The drivers bring experience too, and they're determined to propel Ford back to the front.
I mean, it's an incredible honor for me to be on the DTM grid in the return of the Ford brand, iconic brand in the world of motorsport. Can't wait for the first qualifying.
Of course, Ford has, with the Mustang, a real big tradition. I think founded in 1964, it was the first model sold in the US. So we are very much looking forward to the Ford fans coming back to DTM.
The Mustang is back, bold, wild, and on a clear mission to remind the DTM what real motorsport sounds like.
The Ford Mustang roars. Roar!
The return of one man also made major headlines.
He's a big name, he has a lot of fans.
I think it's a very, very cool story.
Timo Glock's DTM comeback.
I saw him racing when I was a kid, and he was always like kind of a role model.
One of the best drivers we ever had in Germany.
We know each other from the old DTM days.
He's a very good driver, he raced in Formula One.
At the end, I think it's also something very positive for the championship.
Super that he's back.
It says it all about Timo the man and Glock the racer. Remarkably, even after 25 years in motorsport, he's still not had enough.
The wait is over. It's nice, it's really nice to see a lot of faces I know from the past, which are still here, and trying to enjoy this.
Once a Formula One driver himself, he remains closely connected to the pinnacle of motorsport as a TV expert. And now, at 43, he returns to the series where he left his mark for nearly a decade.
I spent 10 years at BMW with great experience, great races we had. I mean, the best race we had in Hockenheim with Gary Peffer, that legendary fight.
Touched me multiple times on the rear.
Oh, there is contact between the two of them this time. It's extraordinary. Look at this, a little touch between the two of them, the back end of Glock's car.
I'm not a fan of myself, but this one I did watch a couple of times. At some point I was like very close. Okay, we're not going to survive this race. We end up in the gravel. And this fight for winning the race, it was a different kind of feeling. I never had this before. And I mean, the radio message afterwards was...
This was the best racing I ever had in my life.
This is the adrenaline, the extra one, what you want and what you want to feel. And maybe you can have that this year again.
This time, though, not in a BMW, but in a McLaren.
It's very different to jump into a BMW or in a McLaren. McLaren is, I don't know, when you know a bit about the history, it is different, it feels different. It's going to be positive, going to be good.
And are you fit enough for the DTM?
I hope, yeah. Do I not look fit?
It feels different this time. After all, he's been out for 3 years. And while the fire is still there, when it comes to ambitions, it's the seasoned racer in him who does the talking.
If you come into a championship like DTM, which is still one of the highly rated championships in the world, I would say, you don't show up and win the championship. My goal is clearly, I want to bring the team forward.
The aim is to make headlines again, this time for his performance on track. Glock enters the season as the oldest driver on the grid. The youngest isn't even half his age. Ham an der Sieg. 3,500 residents, 2 churches, and yet this small town is home to DTM history. The reason? Tom Callender, just 17 years old, and the youngest DTM driver of all time.
Of course, a special feeling. I'm really looking forward to my first DTM race. I'm preparing, as you can see, with my bike here in the forest.
Giving it everything to become part of a bigger story.
Yeah, it's a special series for me. It's such an iconic history, the DTM. And it's, of course, also a privilege to race with Mercedes-AMG.
On the road in a Mercedes, the most successful brand in DTM history, and his role model just as legendary.
I have an idol. It's my mentor, Bernd Schneider. Yeah, he's such a good friend, but also quite an experienced driver, 5 DTM titles, so yeah, really nice person.
The great Bernd Schneider is now his manager, but for Tom, it all started on a much smaller scale. Tracing it back, it began with his father, Martin, right by his side.
First of all, we wanted to do motocross, but then we decided together that it was a bit too dangerous for a boy at the age of 4. Yeah, so he decided to buy me a go-kart.
What started as a hobby is now his life. Tom Callender is all in. He wants to prove himself.
When I see the energy Tom puts into his motorsport, how much he cuts back on social life, what he sacrifices and how hard he works, all to chase his dream, it makes me incredibly proud.
Because Tom Callender is still in school, 11th grade to be precise, and he's still got some learning to do when it comes to driving. The theoretical part at least. Why?
Yeah, for my driving license. Harder than on the racetrack for sure, but manageable. So I'm a fast driver. I mean, not on the normal roads, let's say. Then of course I have to watch a bit on the kph limits.
No speed limits, no regular driver's license, and yet Tom Callender is already on the fast track to success. His growing trophy collection says it all, and there's one in particular he's especially proud of.
It is Tom Callender, our new champion in the ADAC GT Masters, along with Elliot Severin.
The most important one is this one. It's the GT Masters Championship trophy. It's a very special feeling. I was the youngest driver ever to win it.
But he knows there's still a lot to learn as a DTM rookie. That's why he spends hours in the simulator.
For me, it's super important. Probably my most important tool here at my house. I'm always in it to prepare for the new tracks, especially now for Oschersleben, the first DTM race. Yeah.
Soon, instead of riding his mountain bike, he'll be sitting in a Mercedes AMG, lining up on the grid alongside seasoned pros.
The drivers are, of course, on another level. It's the highest GT class in the world. It's, of course, a nice feeling. I have dreamed about this since I'm like 5 years old, but it doesn't change the situation. Yeah, we want to win. We want to score the most points for us.
Tom Callender is now driving his laps where the action really heats up, as the 2024 season clearly proved.
As they get their tyres under temperature, there's contact again. The Mullen is sent around at contact with René Rast. Once again, he takes victory.
Thomas Briding is on rails, he's squeezed Kelvin van der Linde.
The DTM season is about to roar into life.
The 2024 season was one to remember. In the summer, the DTM hosted a very special celebration during the Norrisring weekend. The occasion, the 40th anniversary of this historic, unique and magical racing series. The DTM called and they all came. Racing legends gathered for an unforgettable evening filled with memories of the past, but also with a clear view toward the future. And one question dominated the night's conversations. Who would take the title in this year's milestone season? The 2024 season kicked off in late April at Oschersleben. 7 manufacturers were on the grid: Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini and McLaren, offering fans an exciting mix of brands Among the 10 teams, one stood out in particular, Schubert Motorsport, which fielded no fewer than 3 former DTM champions, René Rast, Marco Wittmann and Sheldon van der Linde. But ultimately, even drivers as decorated as them only formed part of the chasing pack, all with one goal, to beat the reigning champion, Porsche's Thomas Preining. But it was someone else who claimed the first pole of the season, former Formula One driver Jack Aitken. Lining up alongside him, the previous year's runner-up, Mirko Bortolotti. The Lamborghini driver made it clear early on, this time he was going for glory.
The 2024 DTM season is about to roar into life. Jack Aitken and Mirko Bortolotti are on the front row, and here at Oschersleben, round 1 gets underway.
Aitken continued to control the race for long stretches until BMW driver Marco Wittmann unexpectedly took the lead. The German pulled off a smart pit stop just before a full course yellow slowed down the field. Having started from 16th on the grid, Wittmann suddenly found himself on course for victory. But the dream of a season-opening win was shattered just 4 minutes from the end due to a technical failure. And with that, Aitken regained the lead and went on to secure his second DTM career victory.
The Ferrari heads for the line. Jack Aitken wins the first round of DTM 2024.
It feels awesome. I mean, I had to wait a little bit last year to get the first one, but we come straight in the first race and have it already.
The podium was completed by Mirko Bortolotti in second and Riccardo Feller in third. For the Italian, the result was pure motivation. On day 2 in the Saxony-Anhalt region, Bortolotti secured pole position. But the race win slipped away. A jammed wheel nut during his pit stop, ruining his chances.
This is disastrous. Got the hammer on it, it can't get the wheel nut off. This is absolute disaster for SSR Performance.
Crossed the line in 15th place, and in so doing opened the door for Luca Engstler's maiden victory. The German driver achieved his personal goal for the season early, and did so right in front of his father, touring car legend Franz Engstler. Engstler stood on the top step and left Oschersleben as the championship leader. For Thomas Preining, it was a weekend to forget. The reigning champion failed to finish inside the top 10 on either day. A false start in front of more than 42,000 fans in his bid to defend the title. One month later, the DTM made its next stop at the Lausitzring. And the first race day had it all, with wild weather turning the track into a challenge of its own. Torrential rain caused standing water and led to 2 race stoppages, putting the nerves of the DTM drivers to a serious test. But one man stayed completely unfazed, Kelvin van der Linde. After securing pole position, he kept his cool through the tricky conditions, made no mistakes and claimed his 6th DTM victory.
We did it, P1, congrats man. Yes boy, yes!
Yeah, when I saw the raindrops coming, I almost couldn't believe it because we had a great pace in the dry, and yeah, I knew if it was raining we had to make everything perfect to kind of win the race, and yeah, the team did that.
The win also catapulted him to the top of the championship standings. Second place on the day went to Maro Engel. The Mercedes driver made an early switch to wet tyres, climbed from 13th to 2nd, and became the first driver in the 2024 season to score multiple podium finishes.
Obviously, great race for us. Really good results. Kelvin was just quicker today, so no chance to go better.
A first sign of life came from defending champion Thomas Preining. Even though he lost 1 position compared to qualifying, he secured his best result of the season so far, making sure he stays in the championship hunt and doesn't lose touch too early. Thomas Preining was right back in the title fight after the second race day at the Lausitzring. First, the Porsche driver took pole position, Then he followed it up with his first win of the season.
Second flag is out. Well done. Win in Lausitzring. Very good. We're back in the championship.
It would remain Thomas Preining's only win of the season, and the reason he soon lost touch in the title race, even though for now he held second place in the standings. Kelvin van der Linde, on the other hand, held on to the championship lead. The Audi driver finished second in the race, just ahead of his teammate, Ricardo Feller.
Really proud of the whole team, the work they've done in just a couple of weeks to turn it around from Oschersleben. It shows how quickly things move in DTM. You've always got to be on it, always working hard.
Over the first 2 race weekends, fans saw 5 of the 7 manufacturers represented on the podium. Only McLaren and BMW missed out. A particularly disappointing outcome for the team, Schubert Motorsport, especially given the strength of their driver lineup. Sheldon van der Linde and René Rast had yet to finish higher than 6th, while Marco Wittmann hadn't made it past 9th. In early June, the DTM made its first stop outside Germany, heading for the dunes of Zandvoort in the Netherlands. The anticipation was palpable for a weekend on the iconic Formula One circuit. The big question, after 4 races, would anyone manage to take their second win of the season? Jack Aitken put himself in the perfect position. In qualifying, he secured his second pole of the year with a phenomenal lap time. And he carried that dominance straight into the race. The Brit delivered a commanding performance, leading from start to finish to take a confident lights-to-flag victory.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, only 3 rounds into the championship, and to have the second win is really special.
Aitken moved up to 3rd in the standings and made it clear that he'd be a real title threat. René Rast, meanwhile, had been waiting for a breakthrough. In Zandvoort, the 3-time champion finally made it onto the podium, a much-needed boost.
Big thanks to my boys. They did an amazing job. But yeah, the car was running without any issues and was very fast, so yeah, I'm very happy.
A day later, BMW had every reason to celebrate. Marco Wittmann, a 2-time DTM champion, delivered a stunning performance in this holiday haven. After fighting from 17th to 7th in race 1, he went even bigger in race 2. From 14th on the grid to victory with a brilliant strategy, fearless overtakes, and even surviving contact with Bortolotti. In the end, it was more than just a win. It was the most emotional triumph of his career.
He won here in Zandvoort in 2015. He wins here 9 years later.
Oh, finally! Yes!
Yeah, it obviously feels just amazing. You know, like from where we started to finish on the highest step is just incredible.
Wittmann managed to hold off a charging Mirko Bortolotti and improved his position in the overall standings. The Italian, meanwhile, became the closest challenger to championship leader Kelvin van der Linde. Because even though the South African had mixed results, it was enough to leave Zandvoort with the same advantage he'd arrived with, 8 points. One of the season's biggest highlights came just before the summer break. The high-speed adventure that is the Norris Ring. Once again, Germany's answer to Monaco thrilled fans, not just with pure racing action, but with its unmistakable atmosphere. In the first qualifying session, it was Jack Aitken who mastered Germany's only street circuit, securing pole position for the 3rd time this season.
Who can tame the Norris Ring? We're about to find out. We are go! And it is Jack Aitken who has a good start into turn 1. Sheldon van der Linde dropping back now. Is he going to come on the outside? Look at Mauro Engel on the wide outside. Jack Aitken has the line into turn 1. Sheldon van der Linde under pressure. Mirko Bortolotti, Mauro Engel going wide into the corner as well.
Sheldon van der Linde was still leading ahead of Bortolotti when the rain suddenly started. Almost all drivers switched to wet tyres. René Rast didn't, and his bold decision paid off. The BMW driver took the lead on slicks, ahead of Frank Pereira, who was standing in for Christian Engelhardt.
Yeah, it's one of the best tracks you can win on. We have so many spectators and fans around. They're so close to the walls and the guardrails, and even on the podium you can see them. So it's a great feeling to win here.
We did a good choice. Tricky. I trust my team, and I also saw that René was out on slicks. He has a lot of experience, so I also had a feeling that it was something maybe good.
Equally impressive was the performance of Pereira's teammate, Luca Engstler. The Oschersleben winner had started the race from 15th on the grid, and after a collision at the start, even considered retiring. But by staying out on slicks, he pulled off a stunning comeback. The Lamborghini driver celebrated a surprise third-place finish.
We had early in the race contact, so my temps went high and the car was pretty bad to drive because of the damage. And then I wanted to stop, but something told me to keep going. I don't know, I said, okay, we were talking about the rain the whole day, so I'll keep going, and maybe in the end we are lucky.
Mirko Bortolotti remained second in the overall standings, just behind Kelvin van der Linde, even though he lost fourth place to his teammate Nicky Tim in the final corner. Tim worked his magic again on day 2 in Nuremberg. For the first time in his DTM career, the Dane secured pole position, and he didn't stop there. With a flawless performance, he stormed into the hearts of the countless fans. Fittingly, on DTM's anniversary weekend, he claimed the very first win of his career.
It'll be Nicky Tim who takes his first ever win in DTM.
Incredible. I already had some tears coming over there. I know it's just a win, but this has been my childhood dream since I was a little boy.
It was an historic achievement. The Lamborghini driver and his father, Kurt Tim, are now the first father-son duo in DTM history to both appear on the winners list.
I've been dreaming about this, watching my father race DTM around this track as well, and here to see some of the same people that were also there when he won here in the 90s, it's undescribable.
Mercedes AMG driver Maro Engel also shone in his 100th DTM race, rewarding himself with a strong second-place finish.
Well, my 100th race today, for sure a special one. I said before, I have many special memories of the first 99 races, and hopefully we can create more. And today was certainly one of the best memories I have. Being able to share the podium with my daughter is something very special.
Third place went to Mirko Bortolotti, and with it, he overtook Kelvin van der Linde to claim the championship lead for the first time. In the final 3 races before the summer break, Bortolotti was the standout performer. He scored 47 points, more than any other driver.
Being the leader of the championship, I think, is a proof of strength, something we can build on for the second half. So for sure, great job by the team, great job by everyone so far.
The big question now, could Bortolotti carry this form into the second half of the season? The second half of the season kicked off at one of Germany's most iconic racetracks, the Nürburgring. In the Eifel, Kelvin van der Linde had a magical day, delivering the perfect response to Bortolotti's strong performance in Nuremberg. The South African was in a league of his own, even in changing conditions. He claimed his second win of the season, a clear statement in the championship battle.
Today was our day. I have to say I always feel very happy racing at the Nürburgring. The fans here are amazing. They always really support us drivers, and used the experience from the 24-hour races here to have an advantage on other guys.
With that result, van der Linde took over the lead in the championship and extended it the very next day. After finishing second in Saturday's race, Mirko Bortolotti had no say in the fight at the front on Sunday. He crossed the line in 9th, a major setback.
It's a bit of a shame. I think we lost a good opportunity to score better points, but in the end of the day, it's still good to have scored points, at least for the championship. So all in all, not really happy with today. but it's part of the game.
It was the other van der Linde who became the man of the day, Sheldon. Starting from 8th on the grid, he capitalised on a collision ahead. After his mandatory pit stop, teammate René Rast lost control on cold tyres and made contact with race leader Maro Engel. Sheldon van der Linde seized the moment and claimed BMW's 100th victory in the DTM.
Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, I have no words to describe. This one is probably one of the most special ones I've done in my DTM career, just because I started from P9. You'd never really expect to drive to the front from P9 and win the race.
Even though Mercedes driver Maro Engel gave it everything to retake the lead, he had to settle for 2nd place. Still, it was a strong weekend overall, with 2 podium finishes. One thing was clear, he was right in the thick of this title fight. Maro Engel was one of the most consistent drivers throughout the season, finishing outside the top 10 only 3 times. He was also the only driver to score 4 consecutive podiums. At the Sachsenring, Engel finished 3rd, keeping his title hopes very much alive.
Today was a really good, clean race, good start, good first lap, and then managed to move up into P3, and I think that was the maximum for us today, so we can be happy.
While Engel was still very much in the title fight, the same could not be said for Aitken. In Saxony, he became the first driver to claim a 3rd win of the season, but he remained off the pace in the championship. The Briton simply missed out on points too often. Mirko Bortolotti didn't win despite starting from pole, but like a squirrel hoarding a stash, he collected crucial points with a 2nd place finish, reclaiming the championship lead.
The goal was obviously, as every race, try to be at the front, fight for the win. We managed to do that. I think finishing P2 was the best result we could get today, because Jack was absolutely flying.
Just one day later, he had to give up the lead again. Weighed down by the additional success ballast, he could only manage 7th place. For a long time, it looked like Thierry Vermeulen was on course for victory. Starting from pole, the Ferrari driver delivered a flawless performance until a mistake during the mandatory pit stop cost him dearly. A mechanic failed to maintain control of the rear wheel. The result, a penalty. And in the end, 3rd place was the best he could salvage.
In the end, it's just disappointing when the pace was so strong. The start was good, also the restart after the safety car, which of course you can be quite vulnerable, but everything seemed to be quite in control when we're in the front at least. Yeah, and then with the penalty lap, slotted in behind Kelvin, but yeah, didn't have the pace anymore to get by. Of course, not an easy track to overtake, and yeah, part of the game, I guess.
Only 13 drivers made it to the finish, after a dramatic but thankfully harmless crash left fans holding their breath. Lukas Stolz took full advantage, delivering the first Mercedes AMG victory in a year.
Really, really good. Really happy for the team, also for myself. And yeah, I think everybody saw that Terry was probably the quickest today, but he got a penalty, and so we had a bit of a lucky win, but it still feels good.
Despite finishing 2nd on the podium, Kelvin van der Linde felt like a winner. It was the 8th time he'd taken the lead in the championship. Just before the season finale, the DTM left Germany one last time. At the Red Bull Ring, the stage was set for the showdown. And just in time, Mirko Bortolotti rediscovered that winning feeling, claiming his first and only victory of the season in race 1.
Yes, mate, it's a win! You are my hero, Mirko.
It'll be one of the toughest races that I've ever had. Against all odds to win at the Red Bull Ring is absolutely incredible, and I think it's a sportive masterpiece what we've done today.
The Italian proved that it takes more than just victories to become a champion, but his 4th career win did propel him back to the top of the standings. Kelvin van der Linde once again went from being the hunted to the hunter. Starting from 17th on the grid, the Audi driver put in a strong charge, but had to settle for 8th place.
It was tough. Honestly, I didn't have the pace of the Mercedes or the Lamborghinis today. It would have been nice to be in the fight. You know, obviously seeing your championship contenders on the podium, it sucks a bit that I couldn't fight a bit harder for the points today. But that's part of racing.
At that point, Maro Engel was third in the championship standings, thanks to a second-place finish in race 1 ahead of another Mercedes driver. Arjun Maini made it onto the podium on both days, marking his most successful race weekend so far in the DTM.
Amazing job by Mercedes-AMG Team HRT for giving me not only the car for pole position, but a strong car in the race.
The win went to René Rast. The BMW driver repeated his victory from the previous year. Thomas Preining followed in second place. But for both, the title fight was already out of reach. Right in the thick of it, Mirko Bortolotti. Despite starting from pole, the Italian missed the podium, but crucially, he kept Kelvin van der Linde behind him. With a fourth place finish, he extended his lead to 15 points. The showdown in Hockenheim. 3 drivers still had a shot at the title. Mirko Bortolotti in the Lamborghini, Kelvin van der Linde in the Audi, and Maro Engel in the Mercedes. 3 contenders, each with different strengths, different levels of consistency, and very different performances on this decisive weekend. Over the course of the season, Maro Engel stood on the podium 7 times, just as often as Bortolotti. No driver had more podium finishes. A 4th place in race 1 kept his hopes alive, but in race 2 he could do no better than 10th. His worst result in months, and the title dream was over.
We absolutely gave everything, so we left nothing on the table, so I think we can be proud of that.
Kelvin van der Linde, on the other hand, went through a roller coaster of emotions. He started the penultimate race of the season from pole and claimed his 3rd win of the year.
P1, man, P1, that's it. What a drive, man, what a drive. I know this was 110%, man, you did it well.
Once again, the championship lead belonged to van der Linde, with Bortolotti only finishing 5th, but his advantage was just 2 points. October the 20th, 2024, a day Mirko Bortolotti will never forget. With the fastest time in qualifying, he reclaimed the lead in the championship. In the race, only Engstler beat him. Second place had never felt more like a win. Van der Linde finished back in 12th, and that meant one thing. Mirko Bortolotti had become DTM champion for the very first time.
Yeah, Mirko! I'm so proud to tell you, you are the new DTM champion. Yes, mate! Mirko, it's Mario speaking. Grande, Mirko, grande. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much.
We wrote history today. It's an incredible moment for me, for Lamborghini, obviously for SSL performance. It's hard to put it in words, to be honest. It's incredible.
He scored points in qualifying 9 times, more than anyone else. Only twice did the Italian finish outside the top 10, fewer times than any other driver. Mirko Bortolotti was focused, consistent, and clever.
Well, happy for him. I mean, I think he's been in the fight for the last 3 years, so definitely well deserved. And I'm super happy for him, for the team, but also for Lambo.
Congrats. I think as DTM champion, it's not by luck. You become DTM champion with a lot of hard work. He's been here for a couple of years fighting for the championship, so finally a well-deserved championship.
Congratulations, Mirko, and congrats as well to the winner of the team championship. Schubert Motorsport, the only BMW representative in the standings. Their headquarters just a stone's throw away from the racetrack in Oschersleben. Reason enough for a home visit. And everything starts with the boss, which means going back many years with Thorsten Schubert, the father of this success story. It all started without even having our own car, just a borrowed one, a tow rope and a trailer. Looking back, I can be proud of what we've built over the years, a real team. It means a lot to bring together a group like that, a kind of family, and it's special that so many of them have been part of the journey for such a long time. The family once again includes Marco Wittmann and René Rast. Wittmann has claimed the DTM title twice so far, and his teammate Rast is a 3-time champion. During testing in Oschersleben, the team looked strong and confident. No surprise, as this track is practically a home race for them.
200 meters from the racetrack in Oschersleben back to our factory here at Schubert Motorsport. Come with me. I am Max and I'm responsible mainly for logistics, equipment, pit stop equipment, transport related stuff, tires and also helping on the cars. This is our truck haul. As you can see, we go to every DTM race with 3 big trucks. They are all full of equipment. Whatever happens on the track, we are able to fix it. As you can see, we have everything in drawers. You can imagine now of the car, it's around 15,000 parts we carry to every racetrack, from the smallest screw to the biggest engine cover, hood, fender, whatever. This is Ronnie. Ronnie is the head of our graphics and livery department. It takes him around 2 to 3 days to sticker a full DTM car, but he is responsible for all the magic that happens around the cars and how they will look on the track. And obviously, I would say he's doing a pretty good job. This is the heart of our DTM project. This is the DTM workshop. Like on the racetrack, it's the same here in the workshop. Every car has their own crew, own mechanics. This is Basti, this is the #1 mechanic of René. This is Adam, his #2 mechanic. They check the setup back and everything what the engineer wants from them. On this car it's the same. We have August here, mechanic of the #11 car for Marco Wittmann.
Obviously, if we win a race, if we stand on the podium, most of the time you only see the driver, but at the end it's a big teamwork.
Welcome to the carbon department. Another outstanding thing I would say we have at Schubert, we also can repair all types of carbon parts because our car is mainly made from carbon, like every other race car you can see in DTM as well. We got Daniel here. Daniel is a carbon guy here at Schubert Motorsport. He's doing an awesome job. When the parts are repaired in our shop, there's no difference between the part you can buy or what gets repaired here. There's the same weight, the same strength, the same durability of the part. I would say it's a kind of magic.
There are so many key areas in the team which need to work. Everything needs to be perfect. The structure in the team, the communication in the team.
This is our communications and radio department. Very important thing in motorsports. This is Danny, head of this department. How many radios do we have at the track?
We have like 50 radios. We take 28 with us to the track. And here in our department we can do like minor repairs on ourselves and also all the reprogramming, what is necessary sometimes from track to track.
Danny, check, check.
Radio check, loud and clear.
And everything we do here all year, what you have seen today, is for the big goal, to win another one of these trophies.
From a team rich in tradition to a brand steeped in history.
Hello guys, I'm Joel Magnus, I'm Nicolas Baat, and together we are racing for Come2 Racing with the Aston Martin Vantage GT3.
Aston Martin is legacy, is luxury, is very pure and elegant.
It's a brand with such a long history and such a big name.
Yeah, I'm an Aston Martin fan.
A new Bond is in the house. Pretty cool to have that number on the car. It's mythical. The team chose the number for the fact that obviously an Aston Martin has to have the 007. Who's not a fan of James Bond? I mean, everyone is a fan of James Bond. So yeah, this year I'll have to represent James Bond, not only on track but also off track. That's my task. Let's show the car.
Yeah, show me.
Okay, I'll show the outside, you can do the inside. Deal? Let's go. First of all, it's the Aston Martin green. Let's call it like that. I absolutely love it. Something very specific to this car is the fact that the front is super long. The first time I drove it, I was not used to it. I completely smashed the board, which was standing in front of the car. What else is specific about this car? Obviously the aerodynamics. I'll show you in the back. The efficient aerodynamics are thanks to this very big rear wing, but also due to the very efficient diffuser. Same with the floor. The floor generates a lot of downforce, which really makes this car very strong in high-speed corners. Hey Jill, you forgot the most important. Tell me, what's the most important? You forgot this massive splitter. Ah, yeah, this is also creating a lot of downforce, obviously. That's why it's so well balanced. Nico and I have actually driven together already in the past. Working together was really nice, so I'm looking forward to work together again. Now it's up to you to say something nice about me as well.
Oh, but I like you, you know, we have a good chemistry.
Yeah, we have a good relationship, and I think that will create good results in the end. Okay, Nico, I showed the outside, now you show the inside.
Sure, follow me. So, as we can see, this is a steering wheel, for those of you who didn't know, with some buttons like the speed limiter. We have all this rotary that help us to adjust the car. And of course, the secret button is for more power, extra boost. It's a joke, obviously. Something that is not usual, we have the ABS rotary on the console and not on the steering wheel. We also have the power steering button, which for me is not a problem because I'm very strong and I train a lot.
Let's make a conclusion about the car, no? It's good looking, it's fast, a lot of aero. What else did we say? 2 Belgian drivers.
Exactly.
We got everything to do a good result, no?
And a Belgian team.
Can be better. Let's get started. Oh, that was perfect.
Merci. But now, things are about to turn Italian.
My name is Jack Aitken.
My name is Thierry Vermeulen.
I'm Ben Green.
And together, we are the DTM Ferrari Boys. This is my 3rd year in DTM now, so we already had some wins, some poles. We will keep fighting towards the championship. I think we can do it, so it's exciting. We have another car, and we're going to be stronger this year.
When it comes to DTM, all the data is super important to process everything, and having an extra car this year here in the DTM will help to try some different things, but also in case you want to see how your teammates are doing it, just learn from them.
And especially this year, having 3 cars on the grid can be a huge advantage. There's a new set of tyres to understand, and they come from Italy too.
Ciao, I'm Matteo Braga from Pirelli, and now I'm telling you something about the tyres that we are going to use in DTM season for 2025. We have tried to develop the new product, trying to match with the requirements from the different teams that we have received during the past years. It's very important because specifically for this type of championship where the platform are GT3 cars and they are completely different in terms of architecture, because if you compare, for example, a Mercedes with a Porsche, they are completely different. All the materials has been updated. The target was not to make it too far from the old one, just not to waste all the knowledge and the know-how of the teams from last year, but still has some improvement, like maybe quicker warm-up, better consistency, and obviously a better reliability. For every car, we bring between 5 and 6 sets per car for every weekend. But we always try to reduce the number to make the competition even more interesting, and as well to reduce the impact on the environment. The FSC certification is something that we started to have since 2021. It has been introduced last year in 24 for Formula 1, and now is the turn of the GT family. 2025 marks an important milestone in our road to sustainability. Includes as well the use of renewable materials, the use of renewable energies, and our factories already, they reached the carbon neutrality.
New rubber for even more full throttle. The theory comes from Pirelli, the practice from the drivers.
I think already Pirelli have improved the tyre for this season. There's a bit more of a working window, so we can explore the limits and get closer to the limit all the time.
I think you should always treat the tyre how you want to be treated, so nice and gentle to begin with, you know, slowly build it up, get them to a nice temperature, warm up a little bit, and then if you take care of them, they will take care of you.
And Jack, what do you think about the new wet tyre from Pirelli?
I mean, I'm hoping that it performs as well as it always has done in the past, maybe even a little bit better. Yeah, I hope for sunshine all the time, but should we need it, it's there.
I think it will be a good season. I think with the new tyre, I'm sure it's going to be faster than last year. So maybe we'll see some new lap records. Hopefully we'll be setting them. Hopefully I'll be setting them. And hopefully we'll be competitive and fighting at the front of the championship.
But the dream of the title is being chased this year by 24 drivers. And like Emil Frey Racing, Manthey is also counting on a trio, led by Thomas Preining, who's determined to return to the top after a failed title defence.
I think it was a very difficult year for everybody. I felt like in many ways we were a lot better than in 23, but yeah, some things just didn't go our way. This year the aim is definitely to bring the championship back to where we like to see it.
Porsche, one of a total of 9 manufacturers. That's as many as there's been since 1987, because just before the season kicked off, Audi also joined the grid with DTM frontrunner Riccardo Feller.
Luckily, I know the Audi quite well from the last years. We will just try our best and hope that very soon in the season we can drive in the front.
For now, they're still running close together, but only one from this group will be celebrating in the end.
The field is ready now.
The field is full of quality.
This is really the top level of GT3.
I think it's one of the most competitive lineups they've had.
It shows the results of our work over the last 3 years, bringing the DTM from a pure manufacturer sport to a team sport was the right direction.
The DTM is shaping motorsport, both competitively and sustainably.
For us, DTM should be a window where you can show new technologies. I think we invented first things 2 years ago. We got first sustainable fuel. We'll now have an even better sustainable fuel, carbon neutral fuel.
The fuel is the same for everyone, but each of these drivers has their own thoughts when it comes to these 3 letters this season. DTM.
What is this season? 2025 gonna be like fast, hard,
performance,
drama.
I don't want to say things which I will regret later on.
Just 3 separate words.
Ooh la la.
Aston Martin Vintage.
Season 2025 is going to be
Adrenaline.
Chaos.
Open. Successful.
Intensified.
Close.
Season 2025.
An adventure.
Beautiful.
Towards my feeling or the global championship?
Loud.
Action. Nerve-breaking.
Just 3 words. Oi.
Loads of winning.
Fun.
Interesting. Colorful.
Blue is winning.
Rock and roll.
Are you ready?
We certainly are, gentlemen.
Let's go.